So something kind of alarming was brought to my attention a couple days ago, and that's because my friend Vibhav, whose Patreon you should check out, is currently translating the One Punch Man Encyclopedia, aka the Data Book, and when he came across Bang's page, he found something pretty interesting, and it has to do with what I assumed was Bang's ultimate technique up until this point. And that, of course, is the Abandonment. Now, before I go any further into this video, let me just go over what I believed the Abandonment to be up until this point, and then simply just what I was reading off of the wiki for, I guess, the past 2.5 years. So it said, the Abandonment is a breathing technique that allows Bang to remove all his subconscious restrictions as well as forcibly ignore his survival instincts. When they are removed, Bang's mobility, agility, and maneuverability as well as his fighting style are heightened. Bang is seen utilizing this to prepare for his fight with Elder Centipede, so Bomb and Genos could escape with the unconscious heroes. And then when you check the source of this information, it's labeled as being One Punch Man Encyclopedia, One Punch Man Hero Perfection, page 60 through 61, which are Bang's pages. But now, it turns out...
We made it up. We made this one up. It's a made-up tale. It's a total fabrication. It never happened.
Because now that Vibhav has translated Bang's pages in the data book, specifically 60 and 61, the portion of the page that mentions the Abandonment says something much different now. By training his dynamic visual acuity and anticipating the enemy's movements, he is able to demonstrate the terrifying power of Abandonment. He can catch and run through even the quickest of enemies with precision. And the context that they're giving us for the Abandonment here is Bang in that iconic sequence taking the last marble from Melzergar's head. So strictly going off of this, it's implying that Bang used the Abandonment when he was taking out Melzergar. And of course, there's no mention of a breathing technique at all. So like I said, this is pretty alarming and straight up blowing my mind, because I've been going off of the Abandonment being like the premier breathing technique that Bang and Garou uses in this series for over 2 years at this point. I've talked about it in maybe over 100 videos at this point. I've even made an entire video dedicated to what I thought the Abandonment was. But it turns out this whole time, it may have been just misinformation. Now let's look at what the actual Abandonment is, and it appears that it's just something that Bang inherently has just from years of training. And I guess it just further explains how he's able to do those real precise attacks. Now, if that is the case, it doesn't change the fact that there is a breathing technique that exists within this series that we see Bang and Garou both use that look aesthetically identical, which heavily implies that it's a technique that Garou learned from Bang. Now, one of the things that I enjoy about One Punch Man is that sometimes One and Murata will show and not tell, which is something that really escapes battle manga nowadays with all the crazy amounts of like narration and exposition that we get. Sometimes in One Punch Man we don't necessarily get that, and we're going to have to go off of visual storytelling. And I always thought that was certainly a big part of the Abandonment, but going off of what it says in the encyclopedia here, I guess the breathing technique and whatever happens after that is 100% visual storytelling here, because it's never mentioned like how it works, what they're doing, or what it's called. So that means that what we've been referring to as Abandonment Bang and the Abandonment and everything up until this point is no longer valid, and that Abandonment Bang is no longer a thing, unfortunately. I mean, he is a thing because apparently he was Abandonment Bang when he took out the last marble from Melzergar, but like when he goes against the Cadres recently in the manga after doing the breathing technique, it's I guess no longer be considered Abandonment Bang, right? I know, it's shocking to me too. After all these years, everything has just changed off of just the corner of one single page being altered. Now, while that does change, it doesn't change that Bang and Garou are certainly performing some kind of technique to heighten their abilities. Like when Garou is going against Death Gatling's team, after they start to get like the better of him, we see him perform the breathing technique, and then suddenly he's able to overcome them. Then we see Bang use it before he's about to sacrifice himself to go against Elder Centipede. We also see Garou do this before he uses the Cross-Fang Dragon Slayer Fist against Orochi. But going to one of the most recent chapters, we see Bang yet again using the breathing technique before he goes against Gums and Fuhrer Ugly. So that is still absolutely a thing. It's just that it's not the abandonment anymore. Now that it is not the abandonment, it becomes more ambiguous than it already was, because we don't fully understand what they're doing. Because before, it appeared that they were kind of just releasing their mind in a way and making their bodies like capable of utilizing, 100% of their abilities, I guess. It wasn't like a going Super Saiyan or something like that. But now that we don't have like an official definition or explanation of what it is, it's more up for interpretation than ever now, I guess. Now, to finish this video off, I want to go into webcomic spoilers, because I guess that's the last bit of information that we could go off of regarding the abandonment or just the breathing technique. So if you don't want to know what's going to happen in the future of the story, I suggest you check out now. So in chapter 89 of the webcomic, when Awakened Garou is taking on Saitama, it appears that Awakened Garou is doing some kind of like Wim Hof breathing method thing. And he explains to Saitama that this is a breathing technique that is the result of learning several martial arts. I still haven't used the full strength of this body. I am preparing for that. Then afterwards, we see him pretty much do the same exact breathing technique that, we've seen them do up until this point in the series. Even going off of the webcomic, it looks identical to what Bang does before he takes down Fear Ugly and Gum. However, we don't ever see Bang do like the Wim Hof breathing thing. It kind of just cuts to him having like the smoky breath coming out, and that's it. Now, another thing that's interesting is that Garou says this is a breathing technique that is the result of learning several martial arts. He doesn't specifically say it's just coming from the water stream. And also at this point, when he becomes Awakened Garou, he's able to like fuse together everything that he's learned and dubs it the Godslayer Fist, or whatever the translation for it will eventually be. But saying several makes it seem like this breathing technique is a part of the Godslayer Fist or something. So either the Wim Hof breathing thing is him fusing with the original breathing technique that Bang had, which explains why this is like several martial arts rather than just one, or this is like a weird ambiguous statement that may or may not just be him referring to the Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist's apparent breathing technique, maybe? Not really sure at this point. We're gonna have to wait for this sequence in the manga, which hopefully they'll give a better explanation to it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Abandonment Bang and Abandonment Garou, and the abandonment appears is no longer a valid term, I guess. And that until we do get a valid term on this breathing technique, I don't know what to refer to it anymore than the breathing technique. Let me know your new suggestions for a name for this technique in the comments, guys. Let me know. And if you liked the video, please give it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.